Hey, beautiful, amazing travel advisors. Welcome. I'm sorry that I'm running just a touch late this morning, but I am excited to be here with you to talk about selling travel on social media in 2021. Can you believe we made it to 2021, first of all? There were times I doubted it. And the fact that we've made it to halfway through the year is even more exciting. I am very excited to get started and jump in to talk about how to sell more. You'll have to excuse my eyes. I'm trying to look at the camera, but also double check to make sure we're live in all the right places. So welcome. I am, like I said, super excited to get started. Drop me a comment in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. I know, looking at the email list and DMing back and forth with travel advisors, I know that we've got some people in Australia and the UK, of course, the United States and Canada. So drop me a comment and let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to hear from you. Welcome. I'm going to get started right away because we're already running a little bit late. We've got a lot to cover, and this is going to be a jam-packed workshop session. Hello, I see Iowa. I see some other places coming in. Thank you for joining me. Indiana, Texas, Toronto. Welcome, 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 welcome. My name is Nikita Brown. I'm going to introduce myself in just a second, but we are talking today about how to sell travel on social media in 2021. You all know that social media is rapidly changing all the time. 2020 was like the year Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the places just laid it all out on us and changed so many things. So we're going to talk today about what it takes to sell travel on social media in 2021, what you should be doing to set your travel business up for more sales. And we're going to talk about some of the things we're going to kick to the curb too. Some of the things we're going to stop doing on social media to make sure that you have a clear strategy that's going to get you results. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right in. I see Jamaica. Hello, Tanisha, Tennessee, Pennsylvania. I see some more Texans coming in here. Woo, nice. Whitefish, Montana, which is the backyard of Glacier National Park. That must be beautiful, Kelly. And am I freezing for anyone else? Let me know. There's a couple people that say that I'm freezing. Let me know if I'm freezing. I will see what we can do about that. It could be my internet. We've got Palm Springs, Oakville, Ontario. Nice. We've got some Canadians. England, welcome. All right, just let me know in the chat, y'all. Can you see me okay? Am I freezing? Am I not freezing? We'll see what we can do about the tech issues, but I'd love to know what everyone else is seeing right now. Not freezing. Thanks, Danielle, for confirming. All right, well, let's jump right in because I'm excited. This topic fires me up. It fires me up, and I'm going to explain to you why it fires me up so much in a second. But one moment while I get my life together and share the right the right Chrome tab instead of all my Canva designs. Y'all don't want to see all that. It's a hot mess. Raise your hand. I mean, I love Canva. I love Canva, but one of the things I don't love about Canva is that they don't have better sorting options on the homepage. Like you get the whole shebang when you log in, and this perfectionist does not love that. But I still love Canva. I'm still a Canva girl at heart. I will never give it up. I will never desert it. However, I really hope one of these days they give us some better sorting options. So I'm just trying to get the right presentation up. There we go. Much better. All right. And then we're going to jump right in. Okay. Let's do this thing. There we go. We're going to jump right in and get started. So, with that being said, welcome to Selling on Social. We are going to be talking about how to position your travel business for more bookings, for more leads using social media, one of the most powerful tools out there today. It can be a pain in the butt, but it is still a powerful way to reach more people and grow your business. So, We're going to talk today about how to use social media to unlock more leads, more inquiries, and more bookings from the platforms that you're using, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are. We're going to talk today about how to unlock those leads and get more people coming in the door from social media to your business, booking with you, and excited to work with you. Now, welcome if we have never met. My name is Nikita Brown. I'm the founder of Travel Agent Collective. I have been a content creator and a digital strategist for the past 10 years. I founded Travel Agent Collective back in 2019, and it has been an amazing, amazing journey so far. When I was 24, I had this crazy idea to start a media company to write about the local businesses in my area, and was able to scale that up to over 1 million reach monthly using organic growth strategies. And that's where I learned so much of what I teach travel advisors today, because I'm very much about rolling up the sleeves, getting down to business, putting in the work, and using organic growth to grow. We know we don't all have massive marketing budgets, so it's important to me that what I teach you is what you can implement no matter where you're at with your marketing budget. Since then, I have sold that business and had the opportunity to work in the travel industry with some amazing suppliers, creating content and traveling for them. And that was what led me to Travel Advisors. As I was working for many of these suppliers, it was an amazing experience. But one thing, and I've told these suppliers too, I'll tell anybody who can listen. There was one thing I saw missing, and it was that Travel Advisors weren't getting enough of the great content that we were creating and using for marketing purposes. So with that being said, I launched Travel Agent Collective to help travel advisors step up their social media game and really take their content into their own hands. Because on social media today, and as you're going to see with our conversation, it takes a mix of content to really get your followers excited to book with you. And that includes supplier content you create yourself. So supplier content is just one cog in the wheel to help you be successful, but I definitely saw a gap there in giving travel advisors more of the resources you need to show up on social media confidently, and just knowing how high quality the content we were creating was and how much work and effort was going into it. I just always wondered, I'm like, why aren't we giving this to travel advisors? I consider travel advisors to be some of the most influential people in this industry. You have the ear of the client, you have the ear of the consumer, and you have your own circle of influence. People who listen to you and take your word for it when you say visit this property or go to this place. And that's incredibly powerful for brands. So with that being said, I launched Travel Agent Collective in 2019 to teach travel advisors how to create better content and how to attract more clients on social media. And this fires me up, you guys, because here's the thing. Social media, while it can be a real beast, it is a powerful, powerful tool for growing your business. And I see so much potential, especially right now in this pandemic, as people are finally getting excited to travel again. They're looking for trusted travel pros like you to work with. And there's so much misinformation going on out there. So I am extra passionate about this now, knowing that by giving travel advisors the tools you can show up confidently on social media, step into that place of authority, and be there for people as they try to get out there and start traveling again. So today we are talking about how to sell travel on social media and get more bookings. I'm going to show you and talk about some of the outdated strategies you want to kick to the curb, and we're going to talk about what you can start doing today to take action to get those leads, those inquiries, and those bookings. So, social media has fundamentally changed. When I launched my first business back in 2009, my very first entrepreneurial adventure, Facebook was like a new thing. Instagram didn't really exist. There was definitely not a TikTok. So social media has fundamentally changed. And the way people navigate social media, the way they use social media has also shifted and changed over the years too. It used to be that, you could put out your marketing content, your travel deals, your marketing material and wait for people to come and book with you. And back then you were getting like massive reach, like 30-50% of the people who followed you on Facebook saw your content. Things have changed now. That window is much narrower. So you have to really jump on the opportunity now to get as much as you can out of your organic engagement by getting people to engage and talk back and forth. That's how your content has its legs to move. So now social media is about showing up intentionally with quality content, knowing that less people are seeing your content. You're getting less organic reach. So you really have to make the most out of that window of opportunity that you're getting with your organic reach on Facebook and on Instagram. So platforms have changed, user habits have changed. Just in the past year and a half alone, we've had all these new things thrown at us: Instagram guides, Instagram reels, Instagram stories has been a thing for a few years, but finally more travel advisors are starting to use it. So you have all these things that are coming your way. And on the consumer side of things, they have things that are coming their way too. So it's impacting how they use social media, how they engage with the platform, the types of content they like to see and engage with. And there's a lot of travel content out there. And it can get to feel like you're just sort of drowning in all of the noise, can it? Let me know in the comments. Do you ever have that feeling where you're like, is anybody, like you're just like yelling into the abyss? Is anybody listening? Is there anybody here? Are you listening to me? Can anyone hear me? I know that feeling. I've managed many social media accounts, and in the early days of growing my media company as well, we had to figure out what we were going to do. I had no marketing budget, and when I first started, it was just me by myself. So I had to figure out, how do I get people to listen and talk back, and how do I build a community? So let's talk a little bit about what's working now, because that feeling of, if you're putting in the effort to post on social media right now, you're scheduling posts or you're trying to get content out there, it is so discouraging to feel like nobody is listening to you. So let's take everything you know about how to market on social media right now and set it aside for a minute. We're not going to throw it out the window completely. We don't need to get that hasty, but let's set it aside for a minute, because I'm going to show you, truthfully, it's going to change your perspective, what I have to show you today to talk about how to get more clients in the door. It's going to share, if you've been listening to me for a while, this may not be as mind shifting as you probably will expect or no, but if this is your first time hearing from me, you're probably going to hear some things that you probably never heard before from anyone else. So you can approach social media like this: put out promotional content and travel inspiration and wait for clients to come rolling in the door. Or you can start using social media strategically to build relationships, connect with your followers, and use that as a stepping stone for more bookings. That is the major shift that has happened on social media today. It is not about promoting your business. It is absolutely about promoting your business, but you can't come in guns blazing with your promotional content and expect people to book with you. You have to focus on connections. That is the key. That is the key to unlocking your followers and building a foundation, a solid foundation where your followers are genuinely excited to book with you. When it comes time for them to book, they're ready and they're willing to do it with you. You have to be ready to nurture people, connect with them. That's what's going to get you to point B faster. That's what's going to get those bookings coming in the door more frequently and more quickly from social media. So you have to shift your mindset and focus on connections. And when you approach social media with a connection mindset and use it as a connection building platform, it's not just a place to put out salesy content. It's not just a place to put out your travel deals and market your business and tell people they should book with a travel advisor. It becomes a place where you're genuinely there to connect with people. And when you approach social media with a connection mindset, you're not just showing up only to sell. In fact, you can't just show up only to sell today. If you're just showing up to push out salesy marketing content, people are going to tune you out like that, okay? So you need a bit of a different approach. You're focusing on generating one-to-one connections where you're getting to know your followers. This is just like face-to-face marketing. You don't just walk up to someone at a party or a networking event or a convention or a bridal show and say, oh, I have a 14-night vacation, a honeymoon, sign right here on the dotted line. I don't need to know your name. I don't need to know what your likes and your interests are. I don't even need to know who you are. Just sign right here. That's kind of like how it is if you're just showing up on social media to market, and promote and never even communicate, talk to, engage with your followers. It's essentially like being that person at a party who's just like, I'm here to sell whatever I'm selling. I don't care what you have to say or who you are. So you don't want to do that on social media. Social media is essentially the new face-to-face marketing, okay? And your content needs to focus on helping your followers get to know you and your business to build a foundation of trust so you can sell more bookings. So you can sell more travel and get more bookings. So you have to remember why your ideal client is on social media. While you might be there to market your business, we're all here to market our businesses. I'm a business owner, you're a business owner, and we are here to market our businesses. Let's remember that our ideal client is not online to just read all about our businesses. They're not online just to read all about Travel Agent Collective. You guys are not online just to read all about what Travel Agent Collective does, right? And your ideal client is not all online just to read all about and hear all about your business all of the time. They're on social media to connect. They're on social media to talk about their favorite type of coffee, their favorite wine that they opened last night. They're there to communicate with their family and their friends. They're there to talk about where they want to go on vacation. So you have to meet them where they are at, which is not to hear all about your travel promotions. It's to hear about, talk about, and engage with and have conversations with real people. So we're saying goodbye to some outdated social media strategies right now that will not work to get you more bookings. If you're doing these things and you're doing them on a regular basis, and no shade at all. I always come from a place of love. I do, because I want to see you succeed. And this is no shade. We've all been there. I make mistakes on social media. I've had things with typos. I've done things, I've done a thing or two on social media that I side-eye now, knowing more and having experienced more and learned more. So we are saying goodbye to showing up only to promote. Your feed should not just be a feed of promotional graphics from suppliers, of travel deals, and all-inclusive packages. It should not be that, okay? You're not just showing up only to talk about your travel-related content. And stay with me on this one, because you're probably like, wait a second, Nikita. I'm a travel advisor, so I'm here to talk about travel and I'm here to promote my travel business. But stick with me on this one, because we're not just here, like I said, remember where your ideal client is coming from. They're not just here to hear all about everything in your business. So let's remember that. We're going to touch on that point in a little bit. The last thing is posting and ghosting. Let's say goodbye to that. And that's where you're just throwing up some content and then you're out of there. Social media requires a little bit more time and a little bit more effort and finesse these days. And you're going to have to interact with your followers at some point. It's just like, again, let's use that cocktail party example or that networking example. You don't just like show up, beeline it to the sweets table, have a couple things, and then you're out of there and you don't even like breathe at anyone, talk to anyone, make any eye contact. Right? You talk to people, you have conversations, you nurture, you get to know them a little bit so that you can naturally talk about your business without being salesy. So if you're just showing up on social media, throwing up your content, then you're out of there. It's a missed opportunity to nurture your followers into clients. We're going to talk a little bit about that more in a second. So when it comes to selling high ticket items like travel, and especially when it is number one, a high ticket item. Number two, a very intimate item, right? People have different reasons for travel. They have different travel preferences. It is an intimate thing for people. People need to know, like, and trust you. And if you're just showing up to post a bunch of travel deals on your Instagram feed, how do they know, like, and trust you? What are you giving them to help them know, like, and trust you? It's just a travel deal. We're going to talk through that a little bit more in a second. But before people book with you, they need to know you, they need to know what you do, and they need to know that you can solve their problems. And you may be thinking, okay, well, it's travel. Like, it's amazing. It's fun. It's adventurous. What kind of problem do I solve? But you want to think about this because everybody has some kind of problem. And we're going to unpack that in a little bit. They have to like you, and they have to like how you do things, like your solution to their problems, your solution to building, booking, and working with them to curate their family trip or their honeymoon. And the last thing is they need to trust you enough to hand over their credit card. And that's not going to happen if you're just showing up with promotional content and you're just showing up and you never engage. Like, think about it, right? If you went to a cocktail party and someone just walked in, beelined, and just stood in the corner and ate and made eye contact with no one and just left, you'd be like, that was weird. I don't know if I trust that person. So that's the same as just showing up on social media and not giving anyone anything else and not engaging with them, and then you're out the door. So we're saying goodbye to that, because by the end of this, you're going to have some strategies to help you get in there and build connections with your followers. So, people buy from people that they know, and the fastest way to get your followers to take action is to grow connection with them. That is the quickest way to get people to take action, because once you have a connection with them, there's trust, they know you, they like you, and that's when the magic can actually happen. When was the last time you bought something from a complete stranger? And when was the last time you bought something from a complete stranger that you never met, didn't know? I'll give you an example. We're about to do some renos. We've had people coming to our house to see it, the place, and getting a feel for who they are. There's no way I would hire any of those people if I hadn't met them, hadn't talked to them, hadn't sussed them out. And it's just like that with travel. You're selling a very high ticket item, so people need to know, like, and trust you before they're going to confidently hand over their money and say, here you go, I'm ready to book, let's do this. And it takes time to do that. That's the important thing to remember. So, how do you get your followers to know, like, and trust you? It is all about what you're posting on social media. It's two things, what you're posting and the actions that you're taking every single day. We're going to talk a lot about content today because truthfully, that is the number one mistake I see travel advisors making. Again, no shade, coming from a place of love and wanting you to succeed and knowing that you have so much potential. Honestly, as I look at influencers and conversations that are happening on Clubhouse and in other places, there is such a space for travel advisors in this moment to step into your place of authority. So, does your content show and reflect your authority? And if the answer is no, stick with me because we're going to talk about how to make that happen, how to make sure that your feeds, when people land on it, they're like, professional, I want to work with this person. So your content is how you build connections and a following that's going to get excited with you. That's your way of communicating with them every single day. And communication and consistency are key on social media. That is the language that you're speaking every single day. That's what's going to help people get to know you, get to know your business. So what you post matters. But before you think about posting anything, there's one step you cannot skip, and it's understanding who you serve. This will help to make everything you do from here on in on social media so much easier when you have clarity on who you serve and who you want to work with. I know some of you are generalists, so you kind of sell to a bunch of different people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the beauty happens on social media when you can narrow your focus down. It's really hard to appeal to all the people all the time and say all the right things so everyone wants to book with you. So instead of trying to please everybody, you kind of have to narrow your focus down a little bit and get clear on who you serve. You want to understand what problems do you solve as a travel advisor, and there are tons of them, especially right now. And you want to figure out, so these are questions you want to write down. You can jot it down in a notebook. You can put it in a Google Doc, wherever you would like. I want you to write these 3 questions down and answer them. Number 1, what problem do I solve? Number 2, who is struggling with the problem that I solve? Do I solve the problem of time? Do I solve the problem of money, clarity on where to go, what to do, where to stay? And who do I help solve that problem for? And then what transformation will they have when they work with me? What do I give them in solving their problem? Do I make their life easier? Do I help them find the perfect vacation? There's going to be a number of things you list under each of these. But I want you to carve this out really quickly and understand this, because this will make it so much easier for you to create content and get focused on who you should engage with and put your effort into. Because let's be real, social media does take time. And instead of casting your net very, very wide, I recommend you try to narrow your focus so you can get laser focused on the right people who are ready to book with you and who want to book with you because you can help them. So you want to get clear on some demographic things. And you guys have probably seen this before. If you've ever done a client avatar or a customer avatar or something like that, these questions and this formula is going to look familiar to you. You want to understand some of their demographics and interests, like their age, their sex, where they live, some of their goals, their dreams, the things that they want out of travel, because everyone has different needs when it comes to travel. Everyone has different desires and motivations. It is good for you to know and to understand what your ideal client's desires are, because you need to echo that in your content. So if you think about a trip to Paris, for example, I've used this example before. I used it last week on Clubhouse and it resonated. So I'm going to share it again. If you think about a trip to Paris, and it's a trip for a family. A trip for a family is going to be different and have different needs, different desires, different outcomes, different motivations. That family is going to have those different desires, outcomes, motivations for their trip than a couple who wants to go for romance, or a solo traveler who's going for food and wine. Those three different segments want and need different things out of their trip to Paris. So if you're just saying like, well, I can book a trip to Paris, I'm here, over here, I can book a trip to Paris. Okay, that might resonate with somebody. They might come along and say, okay, well, that's good to know. But the beauty happens, and you're much more impactful in your marketing and in your messaging and in your social media content if you can speak to that family's needs, desires, wants, and motivations around their trip to Paris. That's going to resonate with that family, that mom or that dad, whoever your ideal client is that's making the decision making and doing and trying to do some of the travel planning. It's going to resonate with that family. And what you have to say to that family is probably not necessarily going to resonate with a couple who wants to do romance travel. So you want to narrow it down so people can see and understand that you know what they want out of travel, you understand them, you speak their language, and that you have the skills, the know-how, the expertise to make that happen. So this is why it's important to get narrowed down on who you serve, because then you're able to speak much more clearly to them, and that's going to resonate with them. When you resonate with them, you'll get them to take action to book with you versus casting the net wide and saying, I can book a trip to Paris. Who wants to go? Like, I'm ready. I can sign you up right now. You may catch a couple fish with that, but it will work much better for you if you can get more focused and speak to each person's specific needs. So you're probably already posting things like travel inspiration, travel quotes, this or that graphics, things like that. But this is only part of the equation. In fact, travel inspiration should only be a small part of what you're posting. Stick with me. I promise, stick with me. There's a reason for that. The biggest mistake, like I said, I see travel advisors making is that they're not intentional with their content. Beautiful travel photos alone and travel inspiration won't get your followers to take action. And I know you're probably like, what, Nikita? That's what's getting people to be inspired to travel. And you're right. It will get them inspired to travel. But there are a few other pieces, a few other cogs, and a few other ingredients you need in your wheel to get them to take action. Because it's one thing to inspire them to travel. It's a whole other thing to get them to say, I'm ready to book and I want to do it with this travel advisor. So your content needs to have a few things in it. It needs to confirm you're an authority on your travel niche or on travel if you're a generalist on travel. It needs to highlight your services in action so people understand what you do. They understand what they're getting when they work from you. It needs to address your ideal client's pain points. And that goes back to what we just talked about with kind of understanding and knowing who you serve, and understanding where the struggles are and their pain points are. Family going to Paris, let's use that example again, may need a bigger room than a couple. They may need to be closer to the attractions because they have younger children who can't walk far. They may need something else, right? That's different than a couple. So you need to understand your ideal client's pain points so you can be the solution. You can position yourself as the solution to those problems. You also want to show off your personality and your character. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but let me just say right now, if you are not talking about yourself, sharing some of yourself in your feeds on a regular basis, you're missing out on that opportunity to connect with your followers. And remember what I said before about connections. Connections is one of the fastest ways to get your followers to take action. When they know, like, and trust you, it is a no-brainer for them to book with you. It takes so many of the barriers away from getting that booking. So people need to see the human behind the business. They need to see and know you before they're willing to hand over that credit card. You provide such a personalized thing that it is impossible for you to build trust. I won't say impossible because it's not impossible, but it's really hard to build trust when you are promoting and positioning yourself as the authority on travel. You're positioning yourself as the trusted travel pro who's going to do all the work behind the scenes, and you're going to be there and have their back, but they don't know who you are because they've never seen you before. It's really hard to validate that. So you need to show up and show yourself in your feeds on a regular basis. Whether you're getting a branded photo shoot done, you're taking some photos of your phone. I've done some YouTube videos on how to do that. Or you're pulling from your archive of travel photos that you have. Make sure that people know who you are, who the face behind the business is, because that will help you to build trust so much quicker than anything else will on social media. The next thing is, of course, you want to communicate your values. People need to understand, again, who the person behind the business is, what you do, all that good stuff. And then you want to showcase your client experience as well. People want validation in their decision making, and they want to see what it would be like to work with you. So these are 5, 6 things that you need to have in your content on you need to do these things on a regular basis. So here's the thing to remember. Expedia's approach to social media will not work for you. So gone are the days of just posting a bunch of a beautiful feed of photos and getting people to take action and be ready to book with you. In fact, I don't know if that's ever worked, if I'm being honest with you, for individual travel advisors. Just posting a bunch of pretty travel photos, never connecting with your followers, maybe a time or two, but not on a consistent basis. Expedia, so the thing about Expedia, and I hate to even say the word because I just shudder when I say it. The thing about Expedia to remember is that their fee, they can do this because they're a massive corporation. They're not promoting themselves as a company that provides a tailored, personalized approach to travel. So they can post a generic feed like this with absolutely nobody in it, no reflection of who they are and what they do. But they also spend millions of dollars on their marketing to build trust in their brand, millions of dollars that you don't have. So you need to take a different approach. And part of that approach is making sure that you are present in your feeds on a regular basis to build that trust, to build the know-like factor so people want to book with you. Your content needs to have a few more ingredients than just those beautiful travel photos if you want people to take action and be ready to book with you. And those ingredients include, so these are 4 types of content you absolutely need to post on a regular basis in your feeds, in addition to your travel inspiration, or you can look for ways to tie your travel inspiration into these 4 types of content. Value, you need to give people something. Everyone's in it for themselves. And especially on social media with so much content out there, people are thinking to themselves, why am I following this account? What are they giving me? What kind of value? Is it really good insights on traveling to Mexico? Is it a really good travel tips for families? Is it just like they're really astute and they've traveled a lot, so they have really good insights on the best food in the world? What kind of value are you giving your ideal client? So you want to tap into, of course, you want to share like hacks, tricks, helpful information, but you also want to tap into your own expertise and your own insights on places and things to give some kind of value. And we're trying to go above and beyond value that people can just sort of like Google themselves. So if you can, again, insert some of your own insights, your own expertise, that is one way to level it up and really make that value content just based on your business and your own insights. The next thing is authority content. You need to demonstrate your authority on your travel niche, highlight what you can do for them and how you work. And that may be a mixture of like talking about what you do, sharing stories of times that you've helped clients. I'm going to give some more examples in a second. The third type of content is relatable content. And that goes back to connection focused stuff, making sure that you're in your feeds, making sure that people know who the person behind the business is so they know, like, and trust you. And that means showing some of your personality, showing some of your character. And I think traditionally, travel advisors have been taught to kind of take the more corporate branded approach to their social media feeds, like, have a logo and make it look very professional and corporate. And you do want to have a professional looking feed that is a good reflection of your value, your expertise, and your authority. But that branded approach, that big business approach, is not going to work for you. And in fact, it is much easier for a solopreneur, an individual business owner, to build know, like, and trust, to build brand awareness on social media than those massive brands organically. People are automatically like, okay, it's Nike, right? Or it's Lululemon. They're big brands, so people expect a certain level of distance between them and that brand. Doesn't mean that they don't like that brand. But when you're providing a personalized service like travel, people do need to know who you are. So you have to abandon that corporate approach No more hiding behind the pretty travel photos. You obviously want your feed to have pretty travel photos, but you want to give yourself as many opportunities as possible to connect with people, to get them to like you. That's what's going to get them excited to work with you. Truthfully, who likes working with people they don't like? Who wants to work with people they don't like? Nobody. We'd all hire the plumber that we liked versus the grumpy one, right? So, same thing goes for travel. You want to build that trust. You want to build that like factor. The last thing, of course, is promotional content. You need to promote your business. And just because you're taking a connection-focused approach to social media does not mean that you're not selling, does not mean that you're not promoting, does not mean that you're not sharing packages or telling people when there's a deal or actively giving them a strong call to action to book a call or to email you. That does not mean you're not doing that. But what it means is you're only doing it 20% of the time. The rest of the time, the 80%, you are laying the foundation for that promotion, which needs to happen. You can't just go straight in for the sale, right? We're not just walking up to people at a cocktail party with a credit card machine and asking them for their money to book a 7-night stay to Jamaica. We're laying the foundation of trust first. And that's what's happening when you're sharing the value content, authority content, and relatable content. You're showing what you can do. You're establishing your authority. You're growing your know, like, and trust. So when you go in for the sale, people are much more ready to hear you out. They're much more receptive. They're going to be ready to take action versus just going in for the sale, not having laid that foundation. People aren't going to be willing to hear you out. They're going to keep scrolling in their feed and move on to the next thing because they don't know you. They don't know what you can do. They've never seen your value. They don't know what kind of travel advisor that you are. So you have to lay that foundation first. So before you post anything, and I'm sure there's some action happening in the comments that I'm not seeing right now, but I will get to the comments in a moment. Before you post anything, because you might be looking at that thinking, Nikita, this is looking a little bit intimidating, okay? I want to post pretty travel photos, and now you're telling me I need to show my value, I need to post authority content, I need to be relatable, I need to do all of these things, and that can sound really overwhelming. So we're going to talk through how to do this and how to do this consistently, because this is not just a one and done, oh, well, that one time I shared a testimonial, so they should trust me now, right? It is something that you have to do again and again and again. And that is the beauty of what I'm going to show you in a second is you can do it again and again and again. You just have to be intentional with what you're posting. That's why I say gone are the days of just throwing up content and crossing your fingers and hoping people book with you. Now you have to be intentional. And when you're intentional, it pays off. It pays off in the form of bookings, pays off in the form of inquiries. We're going to talk about that in a sec. I keep saying that. We're going to talk about that in a sec, but I just keep getting ahead of myself. I'm just so passionate about this topic. I love it. It fires me up. So before you post anything on social media, so if you're thinking to yourself, okay, Nikita, I have to create content that's a little bit more elevated now, that's a little bit more thought out. How do I do that? This is one way to do it. Before you post anything, you want to ask yourself these 5 questions. Would my ideal client find this post helpful? Would my ideal client find this post inspiring? Would my ideal client find this interesting or entertaining in some way? Do I mention who I am or what I do as a travel advisor? And am I giving my ideal client a way to engage with me or a reason to engage with me through this post? You want to ask yourself these 5 things every time you write anything for social media as a quick little test to say, does it pass or does it not? And you don't need to answer yes to all of them. I would say 3 or 4, or 4 is a good number. If you can answer yes to all 5, you're rocking and you're rolling. But if you can answer yes to at least 4, then you're good to go. So let's put this into action really quickly, because I see a lot of posts like this, Mexico has such gorgeous beaches. This beach is on the Yucatan Peninsula. I always say peninsula wrong. Always, you guys. It's craziness. This beautiful beach is on the Yucatan Peninsula. Palm tree emoji, and I'm out. Okay? And I see that quite a bit on social media. Just look at this beautiful beach or look at this gorgeous sunset. And you know what? You can do that some of the time, but not most of the time. So if we're going to ask ourselves these 5 questions, would my ideal client find this helpful? Maybe they really love beaches. So maybe they're like, that's a great photo. And that's good to know that that's on the Yucatan Peninsula. So let's go with a yes. Okay, they'll find it helpful. Would my ideal client find this inspiring? Maybe they really love a beach and they find it inspiring. inspiring. Would they find this interesting or entertaining? That's up for debate depending on what they like and what they're interested in. So let's go with no on that. Do I mention who I am or what I do? No, you do not. We're just talking about beaches here. And that doesn't mean in every post you need to be like, I'm a travel advisor. But again, we're trying to hit more yeses than more nos. Am I giving my ideal client a way or a reason to engage with me? That's a no. So that got 2 yeses and 3 nos. So that does not pass the social media posting test. Let's try it again. Mexico has such gorgeous beaches. This beach is located on the Yucatan Peninsula, just north of Cancun. The beaches in Mexico are so gorgeous. What's your favorite beach? So if we go back to our quiz, does it inspire or entertain them? Maybe. We said maybe yes or no. Does it give them a way to engage with you? Yes, we do ask a question. Does it talk about who you are, what you do as a travel advisor? No, not really. So it's a little bit better, but it still doesn't really pass the test of more yeses than nos. I think we have 3 yeses on that. 2.5, because maybe they'll find it inspiring. We're not really sure. So the last one. The last one would sound a little bit like this. If we were really trying to make sure we're hitting all the right notes and saying and getting all of the right yeses. Mexico has such gorgeous beaches. I'm sharing 3 resorts in Cancun with the best beaches. Sound off in the comments and let me know if you've ever stayed at any of these resorts, and let me know if I should add any others to the list. So if we go back to our quiz real quick, would my ideal client find this helpful? Yes, hopefully. You're sharing some tips on the best resorts. Would my ideal client find this inspiring? Hopefully, yes, because you're giving them some kind of travel inspiration to base their travel decisions off of. Would my ideal client find this interesting or entertaining? Hopefully, they're a beach lover who's interested in going to Mexico. So, yes. Do I mention who I am and what I do as a travel advisor? Not explicitly, but you are giving some indication that you're some kind of authority on travel to Mexico and resorts in Cancun. And am I giving my ideal client a way or a reason to engage with me? Absolutely. You're asking them a question, and you're also asking them for their opinion and to kind of sound off and help you out. So that passes all of the tests. We can say 5 yeses to that. So that would be the post to post. Now, do you need to be this thought out and perfect with all of your content all of the time? No, there are going to be days where you're just like, I just want to post this sunset photo and say how beautiful it is and end it there. And that's totally fine. But the important thing is that more consistently than not, I would say 90% of the time, you are being thoughtful with your content. You're being intentional with your content. That's the important thing here, is because there are any number of things that you could be posting on your social media feeds, but you always have to be thinking about, is this going to demonstrate my value, build my authority, help me be relatable, or promote my business? And that's when you can whittle it down. And it doesn't just become about posting whatever you can find, but about being intentional with what you're posting so you're getting the results that you want. If you're just posting to post, or you're just posting whatever you can find, it's going to be difficult for you to convert your followers, because you do need to show up consistently with the right type of content. So there are a few more tips I wanted to share on the content piece, because this is important. You want to keep your content conversational. So you don't want to sound like a travel brochure on social media. Sometimes, especially if you get content from suppliers, it's tempting to just like take it and post it. But remember that social media is a social platform. You want to sound conversational. You want to use language you would use in a natural conversation on social media. You don't want to sound like an encyclopedia with like all the facts about a place or a destination, but like none of your personality. It's important to relate to people and give people, make your post more approachable. I think that's the right word. So you also want to tailor your content to your ideal client where possible. So again, it goes back to the Paris example. It's not just about a trip to Paris, but it is about tailoring what your ideal client's needs and desires are around that trip, and tailoring your content to fit their needs. You have to speak their language. You have to relate to them and speak to their pain points on a regular basis. We've got some construction noise happening behind the scenes. There we go. So you do want to make sure that you're tailoring your content to fit your ideal client. The next thing, and this is a hard one, this is a really hard one. You want to avoid cut and paste content or content that's been auto posted from a program. Okay. And there's a few reasons for that. Cut and paste content is not written for your audience. It's not written for your ideal client and their pain points. It's not speaking to your authority and your expertise. So where possible, if you do have cut and paste content that you've gotten, and there is some cut and paste content even inside of the collective, let me be real with you, because sometimes you just need a thing to post, and that's okay. But where possible, try to massage the language again, make it conversational, make it sound like your own voice, add your personality, and add some of your own insights. So if you're posting about Paris, we're just going to continue the Paris theme. If you're posting about Paris, you're making sure that you're sharing your experience of when you went there, that amazing bistro you went to, or that beautiful park you ate croissants in while you were there. So you're always trying to look for ways to insert your own expertise, your own insights, and make it about you. Cut and paste content does not do your business justice, okay? It does not do your business justice because it's not tailored specifically for you. It's not tailored to help you shine, help your personality, help your business shine. And then, of course, I don't recommend auto-posted content at all. You guys, that's like a whole other level of detachment from your business, your expertise, your insights, and showing your value as a travel advisor. So cut and paste content you can work with because you can massage the language, insert your own expertise and insights, but I don't recommend auto-posted content from a program that has no connection to your business. The next thing is, this is another hard conversation to have, but I had this last week over on Instagram stories, and I was crazy to hear the responses from travel advisors and other people in the industry as well. Don't rely too much on supplier content. And this is coming from someone who has worked for and created content for suppliers, but just remember that their job is to market their brand and their business and their travel products as best as possible. It's not necessarily to market your business, your expertise. Again, we're going back to this, your services as a travel pro. So where possible, I recommend taking supplier content because this is a natural part of the travel industry. Of course, you have partners you trust and work with. I'm not suggesting you don't work with them, but I'm suggesting you take the content, the marketing content that they give you, and again, massage the language. Add your own expertise and insights. Who is this resort good for? Is it good for families? Why is it good for families? You want to insert your own think about your ideal client, go back to that and customize that content. I also don't recommend posting supplier graphics in your feed either. I know. Ooh, a hard conversation to have. Because again, that's meant to highlight their brand and their business. So if possible, I recommend having a standard template in Canva that's your brand colors, your fonts, and putting the information into your own template. So again, this goes back to positioning your brand, your business in the best light, and your brand and your business as the go-between, right? Many of these suppliers have millions of dollars to spend in their marketing, so they don't need your space, okay? Your space is your space. Your social media is valuable real estate. So where at all possible, I recommend customizing that content to fit your business needs where possible. Okay. It's a hard one to have. I know, because, I've worked for suppliers. I know the game, right? Their marketing content is meant to market their travel products. And yes, it is there to help you. It's there to help you as an aid to help you market their products to your clients. So make sure that as the in-between, you're doing your own business the best service possible and positioning your business as best as possible. The last thing is to not skip out on the most important ingredient in your social media content, and that's yourself. You should not be missed in all of this. And we've talked about this already, but I will say it again. Showing yourself in your feed, building trust, especially as a solopreneur, as an independent contractor, and as a small business owner, it is essential that people know, like, and trust you. That is your quickest way to getting results, is making sure that people know, like, and trust you. So don't skip yourself in your feeds. Make sure that you are at the very least showing photos of yourself in your feed, but where possible that you're integrating video content. So that includes potentially reels, stories, live videos. Look at ways to start bringing in some of these newer features on social media that will help position you and your authority, your value, and help you grow your know, like, trust. So, there are a few more things I want you to consider when you're thinking about elevating your content and elevating your posts. And this is a really good this is really good for you to consider if you are using supplier content or cut and paste content. You want to think about, because again, we're going back to thinking about those types of content I shared: authority content, value content, relatability. All of that is really dependent on you, the travel advisor, demonstrating all of that. So I want you to think about some ways to elevate your content even more. So let's say you're sharing something about a resort, some travel inspiration about a resort or a destination. I want you to also ask yourself these questions before you post. What do I like about this hotel, resort, or destination? And why would I recommend this place? What do my clients like about this resort or destination? What is it about this hotel or resort that makes it a good fit for my ideal client? Are there any tips or tidbits about places, about this place that my ideal client would love, like nearby restaurants, or that really great bistro you ate at in Paris that they should know about? Or is the room service really awesome? Do they have a rosé garden in the back patio they should check out at the hotel? Like, you want to think about some tidbits you can drop in. And then, of course, what makes this hotel or resort or destination different or unique from others? You don't have to answer all of these in all of your posts, but if you are taking a supplier provided a graphic and caption for social media, or you have some marketing collateral, these are some questions you can ask yourself to take it to the next level, to go back to and touch on value, expertise, and make sure you're sprinkling in your own pizzazz into all of your content, because this is what's going to position you as the authority. This is what's going to deliver meaningful value to your ideal client, because I don't want to know how many room types there are at a resort or a hotel. And most people don't either. Most people want to know, what's great about this place and why do you like it as the travel pro? Tell me why I should stay here? Because I trust your expertise and I trust your opinion. So tell me why I should stay here. Is it a good fit for me? So many people are coming to you to kind of validate their travel decisions and help them cut through all the noise. So think about, can I give them some tidbits on who this is good for? What would they like about this? What if past clients said they like about this that I can throw in? Oh, I have this really great, I had a travel advisor message the other day to say, I'm seeing, there's a couple of my clients that have inquired about these deals they're seeing from other travel advisors. And it was just like a cut and paste version of like probably provided by a supplier that had like the price, the room type, and like some of the amenities at the hotel. It was cut and pasted and posted on social media. And the travel advisor's question to me was, how do I massage this to make it less salesy? And my answer to her was, okay, who is this? How is this a good fit for your ideal client? What type of client is it a good fit for? This is really good for my family clients because they have a great kids club and this, and this. Like, this is how you elevate your posts and take it to the next level and make it less about, here's this salesy thing, go here, stay here, or do this. And here, I have some meaningful insight for you that's going to help you make an informed decision about travel. That's going to help you cut through the noise and decide what's a good fit for you. So you want to ask yourself if you can add any of these answers to any of your questions, or any of your posts, I should say, especially when you're sharing travel inspiration. So it's not just like Paris was founded in this year. I don't know when Paris was founded. This is a terrible example. The Eiffel Tower was built in 1766 and it has this many steps and it's located here. That stuff people can Google, but they can't Google what you like about a resort and why you would recommend it. They can't Google what your clients have to say about that resort to help them validate their decision. And this all works part and parcel to, again, giving value, showing authority, helping you to be relatable. So when the time comes for your ideal client to book, they know who to trust. They know who to come to. You've already given them a feel for what it's like to work with you, what type of trips that you book, who you've worked with in the past, what that looks like. So their decision making is already been made for them. It's much easier for them to make that decision to book with you. So you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And I don't blame you. I'm going to just jump into the chat really quickly, because when you think about some of the things that are required of you on social media, yeah, so I'm seeing some really good stuff in the chat. I have to come back to this because I am loving this chat. I am seeing so much good stuff. Okay. I got to come back to this because it's going to distract me. Let me finish and then I will come back to the chat. So you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And this masterclass is not to make you feel overwhelmed with social media, because as you think about all the different elements you have to bring into social media, you realize that it's not just about posting whatever you can find. You do have to be thoughtful with what you're posting if you want to turn your followers into clients. You can do whatever you want with social media, but when you can hit on these different notes, these different ingredients that are needed in your content, your followers are going to be much more open, and it's going to be much easier to convert them. So how do you do it all and make it all happen every single month without going absolutely insane? Because social media can be overwhelming. It can be frustrating. It takes time. So here are some tips to making all the magic happen every single month without running yourself ragged. So number one is you sit down with your calendar, and I do this every single month. And I know my members of the collective also do this every single month as well, because we do it together in our group coaching calls and in our work sessions. Sit down with your calendar and see what you need to post for the month. The first thing I like to do is look at, are there any holidays or national days or special dates that I need to know about to book my trip, wow, brain fart, that I want to post on social media to help my travel, my promote my business. And that helps to at least fill up the calendar a little bit. So we've got a few dates. Let's say it's not this month. There was National Mimosa Day, I think a couple of days ago, and National Wine Day, or maybe it's your work anniversary for when you started your business. So think about and map out any dates you want to mention or talk about as part of your content. That I love is an easy win, because already I'm filling out like 5 days of posts in that. I can find a few days that I want to create content around. The next thing you want to do is plan your content in advance, of course. So the key to success on social media and the key to making sure you're touching on value, authority, relatability, and promoting your business at the same time, and that you're doing it consistently, is to planning ahead and mapping out your content ahead of time. So I use, and inside of the collective, we also use content pillars. Content pillars are themes that you create content around that help you to brainstorm. And you can have about 5 to 7. Inside of the collective, we have 5 content pillars that we use on a monthly basis to create content around. And that includes value, authority, relatability, promotions, of course. And then the last one is travel inspiration. So what you're going to do every single month, you're going to sit down with your content pillars, whatever you decide for those to be. They can be broad. So these content pillars are a little bit broader, or they can be very specific. Like if you're a destination wedding pro, I'm going to share travel wedding tips. On Tuesdays, I'm going to share wedding inspiration. Wednesday is going to be all about wedding decor for a beach. Thursday is going to be traveling with a group, tips for traveling with a group. Like, you're going to think of content pillars that you're going to repeat every single week. So every single week, and this is why we've made these content pillars so simple and easy and simplified them, because we want to make sure that we're hitting on the right notes every single week in our content. So you're going to sit down with your content pillars every single month. The members of my collective sit down with their content pillars, and they sit down with their writing prompts that they're provided. And they don't need to brainstorm their content because it's done for them inside of the collective. But for everyone else, you're going to sit down with your content pillars and you're going to brainstorm 4 to 5 ideas under each of those pillars. So if one of your pillars is value, you're going to brainstorm 4 to 5 ideas for posts that help you to, and this is assuming that you're posting every single day on social media. If you're posting 3 times a week, that's the other thing you need to decide is how often you're posting, because if you're only posting 3 times a week, then you're going to need less content. So then you're going to brainstorm 4 to 5 ideas under each of those pillars. So if your pillar is value, you're going to think, what can I post that's going to be valuable to my ideal client? My ideal client is future brides. I sell destination weddings. What are 4 to 5 tips, tidbits, pieces of insight or industry news that I can unpack or cover or talk about to give that future bride some kind of value? And then I'm going to make one of my content pillars authority. So what are 4 or 5 posts that I can share that would demonstrate my authority on being a destination wedding pro? So maybe it's the time you saved a client's wedding, or you saved them $1,000 on their honeymoon. So you're going to tell that as an anecdote. or you're going to talk about what your process is like. When you work with me, you can guarantee that I'll do XYZ for you. So that's establishing your authority. You're going to brainstorm 4 or 5 pieces of content that will help you work towards that. The third one, let's say you go with relatability, you're going to brainstorm 4 or 5 content ideas again that help you to show your relatability. So maybe you're talking about the time you had your destination wedding and lost your veil, forgot your veil on the plane, or you're going to talk about your weekend plans. Maybe you're going wine tasting. You can talk about that. So you're also thinking about, okay, I know my ideal client. What are some of their interests and what would be relatable? What would they find interesting about my life and what would be relatable to them? You're going to share that on a regular basis. Then, of course, I recommend promotional content being one of your pillars to make sure that you're not promoting too much, but also that you're not promoting too little. You don't want to forget to ask your clients to take your followers to take action on a regular basis. So you're doing that 20% of the time. So you're sitting down well in advance. I recommend doing it. So inside of the collective, we sit down a week before the month starts. So we're always working a week ahead. Or a month ahead, and we brainstorm and we create our content together in our monthly content planning sessions. So you can sit down a week before or the weekend before the new month starts and brainstorm your ideas, or you can do it on a weekly basis. I know some of the members of the collective in particular, they will, even though their content is provided and we have our content planning parties on a monthly basis, they will brainstorm once a week. So every Sunday, sit down with their content pillars and their writing prompts and create their content. So here is the thing, and that I want you to remember and know is that it is possible for you because it's happening for travel advisors all the time. Inside of the collective, I get message from travel advisors who are not in the collective, who've maybe taken a free webinar or used a free resource that are also getting results. They're taking action. And the number one thing they all have in common as their common thread is that they are being intentional about their content. So one of my members, I'm going to call out Kimberly, who I don't think she's on this webinar today, but Kim sent me a message I think it was last Friday. She'd posted a post, and it was one of the posts that we provide, one of the content prompts we provide inside of the collective. She made it her own. She posted it with an image, and I just happened to like it. And when I liked it, she then sent me a message to say, I just got 3 inquiries from this post right now. And I was super excited for her. Of course, I'm always excited when members of the collective and when travel advisors in general are getting inquiries. But I knew that those 3 inquiries were not just because of that one post. Yes, they prompted people to get in touch with her and inquire about trips, but she had been doing the work for months, laying the foundation, showing up consistently, and she is getting consistent leads. We talk about it all the time in the DMs. Kim, I hope you don't mind me totally shouting you out, girlfriend, but it's because she's showing up consistently with the right content that touches on all the right things. So when her ideal client and the people that are following her are ready to take action, they know what to do. People book trips on average 1 to 2 times per year. So there's a long timeline there's all this stuff that happens in between them trying to decide where to go, what to do, who they want to book with. And you need to be showing up consistently and reiterating and just keep hitting on all the points so you're reaffirming their decision to book with you. Authority, value, relatability. And she's done that flawlessly and done it so well. And so I knew that, yes, it sounded like, oh my gosh, 3 inquiries from one post. This is great. But I knew that was from laying that foundation and consistently showing up with the right content. It's all about what you post. That is your language. That is how you communicate with people. And that needs to be intentional. So let me introduce you really quickly to Travel Agent Collective. I mentioned it a couple of times, and Kim and some of the others, all the ladies here who share their amazing stories of success are members of the collective. And if you are ready to do social media the easy way, because I know it can be overwhelming to sit there and think about all the things you want to post or have to write about to convert your followers, then Travel Agent Collective is here for you to help make it easier for you. Now, inside of the collective, you get resources to help you show up on social media consistently with the right type of content. So as I mentioned, and Corinne from Journeys Travel, one of our amazing travel advisors who's a member, that's one of her favorite parts of the content of the membership is the content that she receives every single month. Now, I'm going to backtrack real quick because I want to show you guys the writing prompts. Give me 1 second. So the important thing here is that you want to show up consistently, but you want to find a system and do it in a way that's not going to be overwhelming for you. And one of the things that we help travel advisors do inside of the collective is show up with the right content, attract more leads, and do it without wasting time, struggling to figure out what to post and creating content, and just second guessing themselves every step of the way. We have you covered. And as a member, you get access to 30 writing prompts per month. This is what that looks like. So I talked before about letting your business and letting your expertise shine. And it's really hard to do that with cut and paste content, as easy as that type of content is. But if you are ready to level up your game, that's where these writing prompts come in. You kind of have to think of your social media content as like as the seats on a plane. You have economy, which is like your cut and paste content. You can grab it and go and post, and it gets you from here to there. And then you can go all the way up to first class, which is like having a social media manager who's going to write all of your content for you and is going to customize it all for your business, make it all sound great, and post it for you. But most of us are not in that position. You may not have a budget to hire somebody full-time to manage your social media channels, write all of your content for you, and write it in your own brand voice. So many of you are sitting kind of in business class where you need a resource that meets you somewhere in the middle. And that's what Travel Agent Collective is. You get access to writing prompts every single month to help you create engaging posts that help you touch on value, authority, relatability, and help you promote your business. You also get a gallery of beautiful lifestyle travel photos that you don't get access to anywhere else ever. There are some licensed photos, of course, that you may find in other places, but there are lots of photos in the gallery that are exclusive to Travel Agent Collective that you will not find anywhere else. And you'll notice that they're a little bit more on the lifestyle travel side. You get premium Canva templates, so you're not putzing around in Canva, falling down the Canva wormhole, but making sure that your feeds look professional, put together without having to hire a graphic designer to do that. My team handles that for you. And we put out 5 new, and we're going to be starting to put out 5 new Canva template packs every single month from here on in. So you have access to beautiful graphics that you can customize, again, for your business, in your own brand colors, in your own brand fonts, and making all of the magic happen. You also get a social blueprint. So social media changes all of the time, all day, every day. The past year has been just crazy in terms of changes. So that blueprint is there to walk you through the latest social media trends and give you a step-by-step daily strategy for things you can do to move the needle and to get your followers engaging with you, talking back to you, and in general, getting them down that path to conversion. And you don't need crazy amounts of time. It's broken down to give you literally opportunities to take action in 5 minutes a day, if that's all you have to spare. And the last thing, of course, is group coaching and accountability. So if you ever have any questions on what to post, what to do, how to post a reel, what to post, or what to say on your fam trip, we're there to help you and walk you through all of that. So this is just a little bit of a sample of some of the lifestyle travel photos you get inside of the collective. Of course, you get beautiful Canva templates. These are going to be, we're just starting to do this, but we're going to be adding new Canva template packs every single month. They're branded. They'll help you make your feeds look more cohesive, more professional. Again, without having to fall down that Canva wormhole, because there are so many options on Canva, which is one of the best parts of Canva, but also the worst, because sometimes when you're using all those graphics, things can start to look inconsistent. This is what your social blueprint looks like. So you get walkthrough. For example, this month we focused on Instagram video. So I broke down all the different types of Instagram videos for travel advisors and how they're different, because there's IGTV, there's reels, there's feed videos, there's stories. There's just so much. And then of course you get a daily action plan. So daily things you can do every single day to engage with your followers, connect with them, and convert them. And you can do it all in whatever time frame you have, whether you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes to spare to help you move the needle. So Travel Agent Collective is $47 a month or $497 for the year. All of the details are over at travelagentcollective.com. It is not open yet. It is not open yet. We will be opening our doors today at 4 p.m. for enrollment. And that's because I want to be fair to the other folks who are going to be at the next session, because there is a really good fast action bonus I'm going to tell you about in a second. And I want to make sure that everyone has equal opportunity to get access to it. So the doors are not open yet, folks, but they will be soon. So here is why you're not getting results on social media. If you've been, I think I've covered most of that, but let's break it down really quickly for a second, because it can get frustrating, especially if you are, I know for the travel advisors who are like, yeah, well, I don't post consistently enough. So I know that that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not getting the results that I want. But for the travel advisors that are posting, they're like, what's going on? I'm posting, I'm showing up, but I'm not getting results. And mainly because you're posting only when you remember. So that is some people, or you're only showing up to sell, or you don't have a clear strategy for your content. So you're just kind of grabbing and going and posting and hoping that people book with you. But that is not the key to unlocking your followers and getting them excited to work with you, getting them down that path and nurturing them into clients. This is going to impact your growth long term. And right now, social media is a huge opportunity for your business, because this is where people are excited to travel, number one. Number two, they are doing their fact finding, they're doing their research on places like Instagram. They're taking in all that information that they're seeing every single day. And Instagram and Facebook do have an impact on our buying decisions. I'm guilty of buying a thing or two or 20 in my Instagram feed because it catches my attention. So this is what it means for your business if you aren't looking to capture and learn how to put out better content on social media so you can grow. You're not getting your followers to engage with you. And engagement is important because it's one of those steps towards getting them to book with you. Not everyone's going to engage with you before they book with you. You will get people who are just radio silent and just kind of like to watch instead of engaging. But it is a good indicator of whether you're building that connection with people and whether they're going to be ready to book with you. You're spending time creating content that isn't getting results. So if you are already scheduling content every single month, taking time to write content, but you're not getting the results that you want, that's wasted time that you can spend in your business doing the things that will move the needle. And that is what we can help you do inside of Travel Agent Collective. It is so much easier because, listen, I love a hand. When I sit in my brainstorming sessions with my team and we're bouncing ideas off of each other, it's so much easier to come up with social media content versus sitting there and staring at a blank screen, wondering what to write about. And that's exactly what Travel Agent Collective is. It's your sounding board. So you get to sit down every single month with your content pillars, with writing prompts that are already there for you to fill out and customize. And it makes your content creation process so much easier versus trying to do it all on your own and trying to figure it all by yourself and just putzing away, trying to make it all happen, but starting with a completely blank slate. So at 4 p.m. today, we will be opening up the doors and I will be offering a very special fast action bonus. I have never done this before, but I'm getting so many questions lately about what do I tweak? What do I fix? Where am I going wrong? So the first 50 travel advisors to sign up and join Travel Agent Collective will be getting a personal video walkthrough audit of their social media channels. So I'm going to look at your Facebook and at your Instagram account and give you feedback of all the things that you can fix, tweak, and improve on to make sure that your feed and your content is stand out so you can attract more of your ideal client and get them excited to book with you. So doors will open at 4 p.m. today. Like I said, I wanted to make it fair to all of the folks who will be attending the workshop at 2 p.m. And I didn't want any flack. So we're going to be opening our doors at 4 p.m. to give everyone equal chance to take advantage of that fast action bonus. I usually charge $497 for this, but I will be doing it for the first 50 travel advisors for free. So the key to more engaged followers that are excited to book with you is better content. It's that simple. Of course, there are a few other elements that go into a good social media strategy, but it will always come back to your content. When people engage with you, they come to your profile, they're going to make a judgment on who you are, what you do, whether they trust you. And that's based on the content that you're posting. When people try to decide, should I trust this travel advisor? Do they have the skills to do what I can do? They're going to come back to your content and look at that. Do I like this person and want to work with them? They're going to come back to your content and say, are they relatable? Would it be fun and enjoyable to work with them? It all comes back to what you're posting in your feeds every single day. And in the example that I gave you of Kim from A Girl in a Bag, that result that she got, those 3 leads that she got from that one post, was a effort in the making that took time, took consistency, and it will happen for you, but you have to be prepared to show up and consistently demonstrate what you can do as a travel advisor. And what you do is so incredibly valuable. Let's just be real about that, especially in this world right now with so many things going on, and so many people wanting to travel but having questions and not knowing exactly who to turn to. What you do is so valuable, and what I can help you do inside of Travel Agent Collective is make sure your social media accounts and your social media feeds are a reflection of what you can do and deliver as a travel advisor. So, with that being said, it is Q&A time, my favorite time. I wish we could play music on this. I would love to start my lives with some music or throw some music in the middle. However, I did do that back in November during a live workshop on Facebook, and your girl got kicked out. Copyright infringement is a real thing, and Facebook did not appreciate me playing Mariah Carey in the background and dancing. So we are not going to do that today, unfortunately. So let me jump in and start answering some of your questions. I love a Q&A. I love it. I love it. I love it. I live for it. Oh, yes. So I know some of you, a couple people said it is freezing for you, which is very strange. So I will get you the replay. It's freezing for some people, but not for others. So something funky is definitely going on. And I will get you, everyone will get the replay later today. I think I just actually froze. I did actually just freeze now. That just happened. I'm going to really quickly just swap out my battery, but I'm still here with you guys. I'm still here with you. I'm going to answer your questions in 1 second. I see we've got a ton of people. Texas, Kansas, England. Thank you for joining me. I'm just swapping out my webcam battery, y'all. So we've been going for over an hour now, and technology is conspiring against me a little bit here. So just give me 1 moment and you will see me again in a second. I apologize, folks. We're just rolling with the punches. And this is the beauty of going live, but also one of the challenges of going live. Things happen. Things happen, and we just have to roll with the punches. There we go. That's better. Hopefully. There we go. There we go. I'm back. All right. So let's jump in, and I'm going to answer your questions. Feel free to leave anything in the comments, and I am here for you. Watching from Colorado. Yes, connecting with people is important. And I know it can be a scary thing to put yourself out there a little bit, because when you're putting yourself out there, it's kind of like, ooh, well, what if people don't like me? What if they love you? What if they're so excited to book with you because they're like, she's just saying all the things I need to hear. I want to book with her. So you have to look at it that way. What if people love you and can't wait to book with you, versus what if they just don't feel any type of way about you and just keep scrolling? That's worse to me. So it is time to show your personality, let yourself really step into your authority and show yourself in your feeds. It is intimidating. It's not easy to do. It gets easier, but it is so important because social media is the new face-to-face marketing. Yes. So Violisa, I hope I said your name right, friend, said, we got this. It would be easy to post and clients book, but how then would we really grow in the area of connecting? That's the introvert in me that wants to hide at times. Absolutely. It is Yeah, and Violisa made I'm just like reading and I'm just like, yes. So her next comment says, that's saying the product itself is a lie. I thought because my target is women and entrepreneurs and those who love fashion shopping, that my travel tips should sell themselves. Not so. Absolutely. There is some more work that has to be done to get people ready to book with you. Absolutely. Once I know where my perfect client hangs out on social media, what do I do with it? So, once you know where they hang out on social media, there's a couple things you want to do. Number one, you want to be consistent in your own space on social media so that when you go and find them and attract them to you, they have a place to come where they're like, they know that it's a good fit for them. But there are a few things you can do to engage, especially on the Instagram platform. On Facebook, I recommend Facebook and Clubhouse are two great places where there are communities of existing people who have interests that align with your business. So family travel, honeymoons, brides, destination wedding planning, entrepreneurship. There's so many groups on Facebook and clubs on Clubhouse where people are spending their time based on their interests. So you can get in there and the same strategy applies for Facebook group as it does Clubhouse. You're getting in there, you're offering value, you're connecting. You're not necessarily saying, I sell this and I'm here to sell, sell, sell. You're looking for opportunities to casually talk about it and bring it up, but you're looking for ways to more give value and demonstrate your abilities and your expertise first. So if you're in Facebook groups, you're looking for times where people ask questions about travel. If you are in, it's a great example. Nicole and I did a chat over on Clubhouse yesterday, and we're talking about how Nicole happened to stumble on this room where there was a bunch of parents in it. And this was on Clubhouse talking about sleep habits and how they're tired because their kids are off on their sleep patterns and won't sleep. And then the conversation naturally gravitated towards, well, how do you help what do you do with napping when you're traveling? And also, what do you do when you're on a plane? Like, what are some tips and tricks? So that would be a good opportunity for a travel pro who focuses on family, or any travel pro, to step in and share their own expertise and their own insights. So you're looking for communities where your ideal client is spending their time and you're engaging in those communities. Number two, you can use things like popular accounts on Instagram, hashtags, and location tags to find your ideal client and engage with them. So what do you do, Gail? Gail, you're liking their photos. You're leaving meaningful comments on their social media posts. So not like an emoji or anything, but like a sentence like, oh, this is so amazing. It looks like you had a great time while you were in Greece. Wow, that trip to Paris looked like it was awesome. Did you find any really good restaurants that I should check out? Like, you're looking for opportunities to connect genuinely with them. Remember what we talked about before. Your ideal client is on social media for not necessarily what you're on there for, which is to promote your business. They're there to connect, have conversations, socialize, and you want to give them that. So you're engaging on their content in meaningful ways. You're liking their content. You're following them. You're responding to their Instagram story polls, and you're just loving on them, just like you would in a natural setting, right? When you're trying to meet someone and network with them or make a friend, you're having some conversation back and forth. You're not just like sliding in there to sell to them. Yeah, Violisa said, I recently posted about myself in my stories and I received some great feedback. You do need to, it's all about you. Thank you, Erin. It is all about you as the travel pro. Gail said, yes. So this is a really good point. Gail said, fine line. Is it all about them? They only care about them and their own problems. So here's the thing with your social media channels. They need to be a good balance of addressing your ideal client's pain points, but also positioning yourself as the solution. Your ideal client is the hero in the story, but you're there to help. So you have to kind of strike a balance. All right. Yes, absolutely. It's a good way to talk about the example that I gave of the three types of posts where we broke it down and asking yourself those 5 questions. Does my ideal client find this interesting? Would they find this helpful? Do I give them a way to engage? Do I talk about what I do? That is a good way to talk about travel inspiration without saying book now or book this thing. It's you have to think about instead of just selling all the time, thinking about creative ways to talk about what you do as a travel advisor. Yeah. So somebody said it doesn't look good if it's not branded to your business. And that is important. You can You can absolutely take a supplier graphic and throw it up on social media. And if you're really busy and that's all you can handle, that's fine. But it looks better and for you, and it positions your business and your brand better. This is where you have to be a little bit selfish and position your business and your brand as the authority. Like I said, suppliers are, and there's no shame in this game, their job is to promote their product, their travel offering as best as possible. Their job is not to loop your business into all of it. Their job is to promote their product. So what you have to do is take that product, take that experience, take that amenity, and build it into the context of your own business, where you're the authority. You're the one making the magic happen. Yes, so Debbie, we will be. There are Canva templates inside of the collective already, but starting next month, we will be adding 5 new bundles every single month. Yeah, and what you want to do is you want to go into Canva if you're going to use some supplier graphics. I'm trying to like catch up on the conversation and figure out where these questions are coming in. You want to have a standard template, so you don't want to be using all of Canva's things. Like I said, that is one of the greatest pieces of the greatest options with Canva, opportunities. They have so many things, but it's also one of the pitfalls because there's so many things. Your brand can start to look like it's all over the place. So I recommend picking 1 to 2 standard templates you can use to take that supplier's information. Like if they give you a promotional graphic, you can take some of the language and put it into your own template. Yeah, absolutely. So Tasia said, this is great information. After getting past the shock value, I think planning and scheduling is more important than ever now. That is the name of the game. So when you stare down social media and you're like, oh my gosh, Nikita just said I need to post value, I need to show my authority, I need to do all of these things. The key to doing all of these things is planning ahead. And a few things happen. When you plan ahead, you can be more strategic about what you post. So you're not just grabbing the first thing you find, you're thinking, okay, does this serve my end goal? Is this helping them to see my value and my authority? And is it positioning me and queuing me up for the sale? So it helps you to be more intentional about what you post. It also saves you time in the long run because it is a little bit more upfront work to plan and to schedule, but then midway through the month, you are laughing because you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I need to wake up and post on social media today. You've already scheduled your content. You know that it is going to promote your business or it's going to give some value or help you be more relatable. You've already done the work, so you can sit back and relax and really focus on other parts of your business and do your thing and let social media do the work. Now, one of the other things to remember here is that, again, you don't want to just post and ghost, but what happens is when you free your time up and you've pre-scheduled, you've worked ahead, you know your content's more strategic, then you do have 5 or 10 minutes a day to dedicate to engaging with your audience, answering comments and having some back and forth and nurturing people. And that is important. That's an important part of the growth on social media that needs to happen for you to convert your followers. So you don't want to skip that. But what happens is, when you work ahead, you open the door and allow yourself to be able to do that. But strategic, being intentional is the most important piece that happens here when you do plan ahead, is because you can have a bird's eye view of your content and really think, is this serving my business? Because there are so many things you could be posting on social media, but is it serving your business? Is it convincing your followers that you are a trusted travel pro that they should work with? Is it giving them some kind of insight or some piece of expertise so they trust you and they like you? And it's not just something generic that they can find on Google. That's what you want to ask yourself. It is National Flag. Oh, it's Haiti Flag Day today. So the replay I will have my team go through the direct to the comments and just expect to get a message from us. The replay is going to be emailed out later today. So I will have my team send you a message so we can get your email and put you on the list to get the replay. Social media schedulers I recommend. Great question, Debbie. I use Facebook Creator Studio. It is free, which is, one of the benefits of it. I just like it because it's built into Facebook's platform. It is easy to use. It looks just like having kind of posting on a Facebook page. You can manage Facebook and Instagram using it and schedule content for both of those. You can schedule carousels, IGTV videos. You can do the whole shebang. So that's my number one recommendation. Number two recommendation would be Later. That's good for if you want to schedule Facebook and Instagram. Kimberly, I'm so happy you were here for the shout out, my friend. So Kimberly, listen, you have been putting in the work it's social media is a long game, friends. Okay. People aren't not going to land on your social media profiles and be ready to book. Sometimes it might happen if it's an opportunistic thing and they're ready to book, but most people take time. So what you have to do in the meantime, while they're waiting to plan their vacation, waiting to have the budget, waiting to, waiting to have that time off, you're laying the foundation again and again and again and just hitting all the right notes. So when the time comes, you are the person that they pick. And that's one thing that you've done so well, is just be there consistently again and again and again. So it's opened up the door and you're getting those that steady stream of bookings coming in and those steady stream of inquiries. Yes, wait list. I see someone is asking about reopening the membership. It will be opening up today at 4 p.m. and the wait list folks will get an email. It's opening at 4 p.m. because the first 50 people to join the collective will get, that's a lot. That's going to take me a couple days to do, but the first 50 people will be getting a video Instagram or Facebook audit from me. So I will be going through your social media, your Instagram and your Facebook profile, and giving you a list of things you can tweak, improve on, and do better to turn more of your followers into clients. And the doors will be opening at 4 p.m. I want to, of course, give people who will be in the 2 p.m. session the opportunity to also have a head start. So with that being said, at 4 p.m. today, Eastern, the doors to Travel Agent Collective will be opening up. I know. Lisa's like, I want to know. I know. And in all fairness to everybody, I wanted to make sure it was open for everyone at the same time. The pics in my Canva graphics, are they diverse? Absolutely. This is one of the Canva templates. I kind of throw in whatever I can find from the whatever looks good, but you will find in on the membership dashboard, there is a gallery of lifestyle travel photos that is growing every single month. And yes, we make a concerted effort to make sure that they are diverse. So there are quite a few photos already there. Thank you so much. The best investment you can make for your travel business. I've been a member since day one. Thank you. I love you. It has been so amazing to get to know the travel advisors in the collective. Truthfully, when I started the collective, it was about, okay, I see an opportunity to help travel advisors here. I work with suppliers. I see that, they could do a better job of getting travel advisors content, but also travel advisors need to take some of the content creation into their own hands to make it beneficial and most advantageous for their business. But it has become so much more than that. Going through this pandemic has been just the opportunity to connect with travel advisors who, by the way, I think 70% of travel businesses are owned by female entrepreneurs. I'm a female entrepreneur and have been. And so it's just been amazing to have this community through this collective. Yes, $47 for the year, $47 a month or $497 for the year. So you get access to, as a monthly member, you get access to all of the resources. The only difference for the annual members is you get access to an exclusive gallery of done for you content based on niche and destination. You also save some money. And you get access to the last year's worth of social blueprints and writing prompts. So you literally, as an annual member and as a monthly member too, you'll never run out of things to post, but you really won't run out of things to post as an annual member because you get access to all of the past stuff too. I am... inside of the collective, Debbie asked, do we do coaching on statistics from social media? Inside of the collective, you have access to group coaching calls and to our members only Facebook group. So if you have a question about how do I analyze my stats on social media to understand them better, you can come to the group coaching call and we can walk you through it. You can ask it in the Facebook group. I'm here for you every step of the way, truthfully, because when you start to implement stuff on social media, that's when questions usually come up. And when you're like, okay, but how do I post this reel, or what do I press to post this Instagram story? So Debbie, you can get support in the members only group or in our group coaching calls to walk you through how to do anything really, but we can specifically walk you through how to analyze your stats. Yes, I'm giving you an audit. So here's the thing is it's so hard to pinpoint sometimes where you're going wrong. And it is powerful. It's very powerful to have someone else who is from the outside looking in. And I do this all the time in my business. I invest in coaching. I have Nicole, who we collaborate quite a bit, and it is so beneficial to have someone else come and see, like take a look and tell you where you're going wrong, because it's really hard to be impartial when it's your own project, your own business, and your own social media channels that you see day in and day out. So these audits will be a powerful way for you to kind of pinpoint what you can improve on and what you can do better. I know, totally. So if Facebook does not like copyrighted music being used even in the background of things. Is there a difference between travel advisors and multi-level marketing travel advisors? That's a good question. Maybe some of the travel advisors can weigh in the comments. As far as I know, uh, I think the difference between the host agents, I guess it's just the difference in the model of the host agency and how they approach everything. That would be the main difference between a travel advisor from a host agency or one that's more of like a multi-level type travel agency. So, Janine, that's a great question. Will photos feature people of color of all nationalities? We are working on it. So we have quite a few that this has been a project we've been working on for months now to make sure that we have good representation. We're not all the way there yet. We still have lots of work to do, but I have some amazing photographers in the Dominican and in Jamaica who do create content for me. So we do have diverse photos, Hispanic, Black, of course, and we're working on it. Diversity to us also means like different body shapes and sizes and ages. So we're working on that too to make sure that there is lots of options for you guys to grab. That's a true reflection of who you sell to, because not everybody sells to young, skinny people or whatever, right? No hate on anybody, no hate on skinny people, of course. But just it's important to be diverse and to represent people of all ages, sizes, nationalities. So we're working on that. We do primarily create, this is a great question. Does Travel Agent Collective only address certain platforms? We do primarily create content for Facebook and for Instagram, but you can absolutely take the writing prompts and use them on LinkedIn. You can use any of the writing prompts. You can even turn them into live videos. So quite a few of the prompts, because they're focused on like the value, the authority, you can take them and turn them into a live conversation or into an Instagram story or turn it into a lengthier YouTube video. So you can repurpose for other platforms. I know. I think I jinxed myself. When I mentioned freezing, I just so happened that I froze. Yeah. You can sign up for Travel Agent Collective at 4 p.m. by going to travelagentcollective.com. You will see the button to join pop up at 4 p.m. Ooh, that's a good idea. I could play Mariah Carey, but I have to play the instrumental version. But that would mean that I have to do the singing, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that would go over well. Finland in the house. Welcome, Helen, all the way from Finland. That is amazing. What's the weather like in Finland right now? That's a great question, Dee Reese. I teach classes on how to use credit card points and miles to travel. Is this only for booking travel advisors? Absolutely. some of these writing prompts can be modified, but this program and Travel Agent Collective is specifically designed for travel advisors who are booking travel. So a lot of the calls to action and a lot of the prompts are around helping travel advisors to demonstrate their authority and to book. So I don't know how helpful it can certainly be done. It can certainly be done, but it may just be a little bit more work for you, just because it's specifically geared towards travel advisors and travel advisors who are booking. Brittany, this is a great question. Do you cover strategies to gain more followers outside of hashtags? Absolutely. And there are other strategies for gaining followers outside of hashtags. Hashtags is like kind of a bit of a long game. It's a passive game. There are some more proactive ways to get followers. And I didn't even mention that I will be hosting some workshops next week. So the membership is open to 200 travel advisors, where of course the first 50 will get get that audit. The membership is open to 200 new travel advisors or until May 24th, whichever comes first. I don't think we're going to get to May 24th, if I'm being honest, because I know that many of you have been waiting to get in. So we will be hosting a live workshop series next week. Doors will close on Monday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm hosting some free workshops to help you guys get started with the membership and help you hit the ground running. So we're going to cover things like optimizing your bio, how to engage, and how to get more followers on Instagram. I'm also bringing in Nicole to do a little session on email marketing. So Brittany, we will be covering strategies for gaining more followers. And I'm going to do that right off the bat next week in our launch week sessions. So it's a series of workshops. There's going to be 5 of them happening inside of the membership next week. Yeah, Brittany, I know it's really uncomfortable. Brittany said, I hate being on camera and videos. That's valid. A lot of us do. And it's one of those things where it is not necessary. Like, who feels comfortable talking on the internet to what feels like no one at first? Because you're like, is anybody here? What do I do? But it is, truthfully, I can tell you the payoff for your business will be worth it. You'll build trust quicker. You're going to reach more people, especially on Facebook, because organic reach is so much lower now. One of the best ways to get organic reach on Facebook is to go live, like I'm going right now. Yeah. I know you said you got to suck it up, and that's some tough love on yourself right there, but it's true because it works. Live video and video content in general works. How do you decide what company to become a travel advisor on? There is a great website called Travel Host Agency Reviews. Stephanie, I believe, is the lovely woman who runs that, and she does a great job of breaking down the different host agencies, benefits, what it's like to be with a host agency. So I would start there. I recommend Facebook Creator Studio as a scheduler, and then my second option is later.com. For my group specifically, we use just the manual group scheduler. At the top of the group, you can schedule. The only Buffer, which is one of these scheduling tools that you can use, is that is one of the schedulers you can use that would allow you to schedule in a group. I don't know if any others. Hootsuite may let you do it, but Buffer is one of the only schedulers I know that will allow you to schedule Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, and your group. But I and my team, we just use the manual scheduler in the group, just to minimize the amount of programs that we are using, because there's just so many things. Nice. So that's exciting. I don't know how warm, like what the comparison in warmth in Finland is to everywhere else, but that's awesome that the weather's doing good. Hey friend, Christy asked, how do I convert my monthly membership to a yearly? You're going to log into your membership dashboard, and you're going to go all the way to the bottom of the dashboard and click on account. And in there, you'll see beside your membership, the option to upgrade. Barbara, this is such a good question. I'm so happy you asked this. What about if you feel paralyzed to even get started? And this is valid. Recovering perfectionist over here who can overthink anything under the sun. If I try hard enough, I will overthink it, and I will stick my head in the sand and not do it. How do you get started? I think it really starts, Barbara, with what I was talking about before. Is just sitting down with a piece of paper or maybe a Google Doc or your iPad or tablet and just hash out who your ideal client is. Who are you looking to serve? Think about what their pain points are and sort of some of their struggles, and then commit to trying to start posting 1 to 2 times a week. Start where you can start. Okay. My recommendation is, of course, frequency is good, and being present and being consistent is good. But if you can only start with 2 to 3 posts per week, start there. So hash out who your ideal client is and sit down. And so let's say you're starting with 3 times a week. You can start by planning out your content on a weekly basis. So sit down on a Sunday and say, what do I want to post this week? I'm going to post 3 times. I need to post one post that demonstrates my value or my authority, one post that is going to help me be relatable, and one post that promotes my business. And think about what those 3 posts are. So that's how you get started. I know it's so hard because their social media is straight up overwhelming. So I would just sort of like get rid of all the noise and just focus on starting to post consistently in your feed, just an image and a caption first, and then worry about the rest. Then worry about video and all that other stuff and engaging once you have that solid foundation of just showing up in your feed consistently. And listen, social media is not like it. There are parts of social media that I don't love or appreciate or find particularly comfortable. For example, Reels. When it first came out, I was like, nope, I am not doing that. I am not pointing. I am not dancing. And I do not need another thing in my life. How could Instagram do this to me? And then, of course, I did it and realized, oh, this is actually a form of content that works for my business. But just remember that you don't need to do all of the things at once. Social media is going to be a layered process where you build brick by brick, little by little. And that's how you get traction. That's how you really build up your comfort level, and the results that you're getting is just doing it little by little. And that's what we do inside of the collective. So it takes out so much of the second guessing because you have your writing prompts every single month. So you're not just staring at a blank screen thinking, what do I say to my followers today? I have no idea what to write. You have a starting point to help you get creative, to storytell, and to make sure that you are consistently hitting on all the right notes. So I do that brain work for you in the content pillars and the writing prompts. And then in your monthly blueprint, you get a daily schedule of things that you can do. So if you have 5 minutes, I'm giving you a task to do on social media in 5 minutes. It could just be like finding 5 hashtags that you can start using. If you have 10 minutes, I'm giving you a task that you can do in 10 minutes. Go and engage with 10 accounts who are in your feed. If you have 20 minutes, then I'm giving you a task that's going to take 20 minutes. So I'm giving you things that you can do every single day to move the needle without overthinking it. You have clarity and you don't have to figure it out all on your own. You get to focus on what you are pro at, which is doing the thing, booking travel, making the magic happen for your clients, and you're looking for ways to make everything else more streamlined. Yeah, I like Later too. So Michelle said, I love Later. You can schedule Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, and IG. I love Later because of the visual aspect of it. I love that you can kind of see how your feed's going to look a little bit before you actually post. That's one of my favorite parts of Later. And my team and I, we're kind of we're a bit of flip floppers. We'll flip between Later and Facebook Creator Studio depending on who's scheduling and what's happening. Travel spontaneously. Could you just, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Do you get the same deal with just the $49 a month, or do you have to pay $497 a year? So you get everything I just mentioned in the collective. The only difference between the monthly membership and the annual membership is that you save some money on the annual membership. You get access to a vault of done for you content that has destination specific and niche specific content that's only available to annual members. And annual members also get all of the social blueprints and the writing prompts for the past year, going backwards. So you get a few perks of being an annual member, but you still get access to writing prompts, Canva templates, the beautiful travel lifestyle photos, all that good stuff. You get access to that as a monthly member as well. Jesse, you are so welcome. I will see you inside of the collective. Keep an eye out at 4 p.m. for that email. Yeah, so if you're choosing the annual membership, then you're paying it upfront. If you're choosing the monthly membership, you're paying that upfront. So how billing works is you're choosing the monthly membership, you pay when you sign up, and then every 30 days you get billed. So today is the 18th. So every month on the 18th, you would be billed for your membership. If you're paying the annual, it would renew on May 18th, 2022. TravelAgentCollective.com, and the membership will be opening up at 4 p.m. today. TravelAgentCollective.com is where you can find all of the information about the membership and to sign up at 4 p.m. today. I have to scoot, y'all, because I'm going to be live over on Instagram in about an hour. If you would like a replay and a second round of this and the opportunity to ask your question, you're more than welcome to come and join me over there. Otherwise, this replay will also be emailed to everybody that's on the list. If you are not on the list, feel free to send me an email. Or no, don't send me an email. Send me your email by going on over to the Travel Agent Collective Facebook page, or you can send me a personal DM as well with your email if you would like to be put on the list to get the replay today once we're done the second session. Can you switch to yearly membership if we've been on a monthly membership for the last few months? Absolutely. So the membership is prorated. So you can upgrade, and whatever you paid that month will go towards the annual, and you can switch at any time. I hope that helps, Lori. All right, folks, I am Shayla. Please send me send Travel Agent Collective a direct message with your email so we can put you on the list to get the replay. Or send me a DM with your email so we can add you to the list. We will be opening the doors to Travel Agent Collective today at 4 p.m. The first 50 travel advisors will get that audit of their Facebook and their Instagram profiles. I will be looking them over myself and giving you feedback on what you can tweak and improve. And then Travel Agent Collective in general is open to 200 travel advisors this time around. So with that being said, I can hear all the construction happening as I go through renos. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you all so much for joining me. Absolutely. And I will make sure that you get that to your inbox. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been a pleasure. This topic lights me up. I can't wait to see all of the magic that you create on social media with the tips that I've shared today. I will be live over on Instagram at 2 p.m. So if you'd like a second round of chit-chatting with me and talking about how to sell travel on social media, feel free to come and join me over there. Happy posting, and I will catch you all hopefully inside of Travel Agent Collective.